I never slept. I would sleep in increments of 2 hours. I think I went up to 72 hours one time, was the longest I went without sleep. Hey warriors, welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, thank you for returning. Welcome to my channel, everyone. This is where we talk about all things health, financial health, emotional health, mental health especially. So today we're going to talk about depression. We're going to talk about what depression does. And if you don't know the signs of depression or the symptoms of depression, then you just think somebody's being difficult. Depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest in doing anything, also called clinical depressive disorder or clinical depression. What depression does, right? It affects how you feel and how you think. A variety of physical and emotional problems. It's trouble doing your day-to-day. It's feeling like life's not worth living. Depression isn't a weakness, and you don't just get over it. When I was, before I wound up in the hospital, right? I looked like I was mad at the world. I sat in the same corner of the couch every day doing nothing. I just sat there and nobody knew what to do with me. Everybody got upset. They were, not really speaking to me, basically ignoring me, not act, it was just, I was just there to be there. Like, what's the point? I was tearful all the time. The slightest little thing, I would burst into tears. And for me, crying was like all the time. I was crying for no reason. If somebody said, I was crying. If they said, don't do that, I was crying. Like every little thing, I was crying. The second thing was being angry outbursts, frustrated easily, getting aggravating at doing the slightest of tasks, irritable over the smallest of things. And for me, that also rings true because I was snapping at everybody. If you said good morning to me, I would, what? You're just irritated for no reason. Why you didn't ask me that for? It's that anger out of nowhere that is unnecessary, and everybody in the room is looking at you like, why are you upset? I just asked you if you wanted a cup of water. It's things like that. And it's crazy because nobody really knows what to do, and they just think you're in a bad mood and you'll get over it and it's fine. Another major problem that I call symptom of depression is, and when I was hospitalized, my doctors was they were very adamant about me sleeping. And a big part of depression is loss of sleep or not getting enough sleep. I never slept. I would sleep in increments of 2 hours. Sleeping in increments of 2 hours is crazy. That's not sleeping. That's taking naps. Is what I did. Sometimes it was 2 hours, sometimes it was not at all. I went days without sleeping. I think I went up to 72 hours one time, was the longest I went without sleep at all. And that's not healthy at all, especially when you're struggling with your mood going up and down. Your body is fighting you, like everything is fighting against each other, and you're not sleeping. You're not giving your body time to rest. You're not resting your mind. You're constantly in the motion of go, and that's insane, y'all. It is insane. So when I was in the hospital, I realized like how important sleep is, because my doctor, he was very, very adamant. She has to sleep. If and I would go to sleep like 11 o'clock or so, and by 1 or 2 I was awake, and they would tell me to go back to sleep, and I'm like, I'm not sleepy, I'm fine. So that's when I was put on sleeping pills, because I needed to sleep a maximum of 6 hours or more every night, and I wasn't doing that. I was getting 2, maybe 3. I was not getting enough sleep. So loss of sleep is a big part of your depression. Another, and number 4, appetite. Your appetite, up or down. Some people have loss of appetite. Other people have an increase in appetite. For me and my appetite, I wanted to eat everything. Yes, all the junk, that's what I was eating. My favorite thing to gravitate to when I'm in a crappy mood, or when I feel like the world is caving in on me, I want candy. I want sweet tarts. I want ice cream. I want cookies. I want chips. I want everything that they tell you not to eat, that is bad for you, that the things you're supposed to eat in moderation. I would sit there and I would eat a whole pint of ice cream. I would eat 3 boxes of sweet tarts. You know, the dollar boxes that you buy from Family Dollar. Those. I would eat 3 of those. You know, the Chips Ahoy cookies or the Oreo cookies. Yeah, the whole thing. I was eating that, and I wouldn't stop. Like, I would just eat and eat and eat and eat. And I was doing that. I was eating all of it all the time, and I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't get out of myself. I wouldn't get out of my head. And I sat there and I just ate junk food all the time. That's all I wanted to eat, was junk food, nothing healthy. The sweeter the food was, or the sweeter it was, the better. I don't know. It's like depression is so sneaky, you guys. It just sneaks up on you, and it doesn't. There's no there's no visual of depression. There's no physical form of it. It just grabs you, and before you know it, you're down this rabbit hole, and you're wondering, how did I get here? If you have mild depression, and when you're eating out of control, and you're feeling sad all the time, and you're not sleeping, and you're angry, and you're irritable, and you just want to scream and you can't, because people are looking at you like, what's wrong with you? This is not you. But they're not putting 2 and 2 together, or they just don't know. It's crazy. That internal fight is insane. Symptoms number 5 is feeling worthless. It's feeling guilty, trying to fix the past, blaming yourself, self-blame. Oh my God. Blaming yourself constantly for everything, even when it is not your fault. It's crazy. It does something to your mind, it's like crippling almost, how we sit there and we blame ourselves. Okay, for me, and in feeling worthless is, and blaming myself for things, is blaming myself for a lot of things that has happened in my past, in growing up as a child, and things that has happened to me. Like, being abused physically, emotionally, mentally, is not your fault. However, we blame ourselves for whatever reason. We're not the perpetrator, but we blame ourselves anyway. We blame ourselves for things that hasn't happened yet. We blame ourselves for just being there. And we really need to stop doing that. Another big thing is comparing ourselves to others. Like, people that we went to school with that have, you know, graduated and elevated and went to college or working on their masters, or, you know, and you're not where you want to be. You're not at that level where your mates are or where your friends are. But here's the things, guys. We can't compare ourselves to others. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's journey is a testimony. Everyone's journey is their path. There's no right path. There's no right way to get from A to B. Some people's journey is a straight line, others is bumpy. Well, needless to say, mine has been bumpy. My journey has been bumpy, and I've come a long way. It's been ups and downs and all that jazz, and it's okay. It's okay that you're not where your friends are. It's okay that, you know, okay, they're where you want to be, but it's okay. We can work and we can get there. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Look at it like it's not your turn. Because when it's your turn, it's yours. So there's no right way or no wrong way to get to anywhere, man. It's just a matter of taking our time and taking our journey. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's path is different. You just got to, you know, play your cards that you're dealt. Especially when you're going through depression. There's that constant battle of why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why am I not here? I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough for this. I'm not good enough for that. It's that constant battle. Okay, for me, I used to do this thing wherein I sit down and I would say, okay, I'm going to go after this. And then I'll think about it and I'll be like, why? You know, why? A couple of years ago, when I wanted to go back to school and I wanted to do a lot of things, because my children are adults now. Well, I have a 17-year-old. She's not quite there yet. But for the most part, the boys are adults and they're doing well. But I would get my little planner out and I'll write my things down and I'm like, yes, I'm ready for this. And then I'll look at myself in the mirror and I'll be like, I'm too old to do this. Like, I would blame everything on my age. I'm too old for this. I'm too old for that. I can't do that. And I had to figure out how to stop doing that, because and I used to tell my friends all the time, you're never too old. We can do anything. But I wasn't taking my own advice. And I had to learn to take my own advice. I am not too old. And I would read stories and articles of older women in their 50s and 60s and 80s, I think, graduating from colleges and getting their master's degree and stuff like that. And, you know, people of age, a lot older than I am, are doing it. And I'm sitting here having my mind play tricks on me that I'm not good enough to get there, and I'm not good enough to be that, or I'm too old to pursue my dreams. And that is crazy. And crazy is probably not a good word, but you know, I needed to stop thinking like that, because it's never too late to do anything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the content here.